Hello, eighth grade orchestra students. Happy Monday. I hope you guys all had a nice, relaxing weekend. And congratulations again on finishing your first week of digital learning. I am on our Schoology page right now, our eighth grade orchestra Schoology page. And if I go into assignments, I have a new folder in there, the distance learning folder for April 6th through April 10th. It's not published right now. By the time you guys see this video, it will be published and available to you. So if I click on this, inside of this folder is our assignments for Monday. Um, we have a sight reading factory and a smart music. As you can see there are instructions attached to those. But if you click on the PDF there for April 6th, it will have more detailed instructions as to what your assignment is for today. Okay. So first off, we're going to do another sight reading factory assignment, and it is the pretty similar parameters. I put that you might get excerpts in either D major, G major, or C major. So it's completely random how those are assigned. And then I also allowed more options for time signatures to come up. So you might get an excerpt in 4/4 time, 3/4 time, or 2/4 time. So be making sure that you're looking at both your time signature and your key signature before you play on your sight reading factory for today. Then smart music. Today I'm handing out, I'm doing air quotes right now, even though you can't see them, a new concert piece called Dance of Iscariot. And your assignment will be to play and submit the beginning to measure 18 in smart music. I kind of broke up some tips for each instrument part, but for everyone, I want you to make sure that you check your time signature, which is cut time. Okay, so 2/2 time, which means the half note gets one count instead of the quarter notes, and so there's two half notes in each measure, and the half note gets one count. Okay, instead of quarter note getting one count. And then we also are playing in the key of E harmonic minor. And remember, we played um, in this key actually in Danse Macabre, but it uses that raised seventh scale degree D sharp quite often, especially in the violin one part in this. So I have pulled up the violin one part. If you don't play violin one, you can skip a little bit farther ahead to the part that you want to play. And if you're a violin, you can choose whether you want to play violin one or violin two. But that will be your quote unquote, again, I'm doing air quote, part assignment for the rest of the time that we work on this piece, which we'll work on this piece for a little while. So maybe if you're a violin player, look through both violin one and violin two and pick what you would like. If you're viola cello, you can kind of skip ahead to later in this video to when I talk about your part. But violin one part does rest in the beginning, but we have a pickup to measure 7. Okay. Notice that there's pickups all over the place. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and they're all up bows. Even one here, okay? And you have 2 up bows in a row. So make sure that both this A and this B are up bows, okay? You have that D sharp, okay? Now, if you look at D sharp here and you look at the fingering, it says a low 4. And frankly, I don't really like this chart here because it lists B flat, which is not even really, this is not an appropriate fingering pattern for here because we look at your key signature. There's no B flats. There's no B flats marked in your music. Every time you have B, it's B natural. Okay. C naturals, yes, there are, except kind of looking through your music, you don't have too many of those. I see one down here. Okay. But back to this fingering chart, it asks you to use low or a low 4 for that D sharp, which is also the same as E flat. I think that you guys should use a raised third finger, and then you can use your fourth finger just a half step length to play that E natural, and then you don't have to do that string crossing from your E string to your A string. So use a raised third finger and play the E natural with your fourth finger, okay? Because this is a common thing that kind of happens throughout here. Do 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 do, all that fun stuff, okay? And you'll be playing all the way up to here. And just one other note, really pay attention to slurs. You only have slurs and quarter notes here. but really just try to pay attention and capture all the different nuances of this music. Okay, make sure your staccatos are kind of detached and separate. Make sure that you're accenting, kind of playing with a more aggressive bow stroke. Okay, so that's violin one. I'm now going to switch to the violin two part. Do do do. Violin two part. Ah, there we go. And holy double stops. Look at all of these. First off, you can see they're at the frog, and it says non divisi. So if we're playing this piece truly as it's intended to be played, um, no double stops, non divisi, or sorry, no divisi. Okay, which means double stops. Okay, the first one's not too hard because you're playing E and B, which are both first finger notes. You can kind of almost flatten your finger against the D string and the A string to play those together and make sure that your bow is hitting both strings equally. Okay, that pattern continues until measure four, where all of a sudden you should almost raise your finger off the A string, so you're not playing B anymore, but you're playing your open A string at the same time playing E. Okay, and then it gets a little murkier over here. Okay, just technique wise, you'll just need to work on moving your finger and leaving that open A string open throughout this measure. Okay, and then at seven you go back to the E and the B, um, both first fingers on their respective strings. Okay, and double stops, double stops, double stops all the way through. Keep these eighth notes light and bouncy with the staccatos. Okay, you can kind of listen to the recording to hear what that sounds like. And then here we have some slurs with quarter notes as we transition into 18. But the assignment will cut you off right here. Okay, so most of the work on the violin two part will be with the double stops and the light and bouncy eighth notes. Okay, all right, now I'm going to move on to viola. Okay, apparently my Wi-Fi doesn't like to work super fast at home, but you know, worse things have happened. Schoology's crashed. You guys know that. All right, viola part. Cool. Um, viola starts with two measures of rest, but then we jump into a chromatic scale fragment. And this is an option where if you click on the note, if you watch Mrs. Holmes' video on, she showed you this with band music, but the same is true for orchestra music. You can play a little, hear the pitch of the note. You can press that to play the pitch note. And as I was showing on the violin one part, we have a fingering chart. So if you're ever confused about fingerings, I didn't like the one on the violin one as I was showing earlier, but for this section here, this chromatic scale, and they also do write the fingerings in, but this is pretty accurate as to how you should be playing these notes here. Okay, kind of chromatic scale. You know, it's all half steps up to here, and then we're jumping around a little bit more as we get into measure six. Okay, and it's pretty repetitive. Um, so hopefully you'll be able to practice kind of these first four measures, and then repeat it, and then practice these four, and then this is the same thing. And then once you get here, it's similar, but then changes a little bit at the end. And then you actually go to the double stops that I was just talking about in the violin two part with E and B. And so that's both first finger on both the D string and the A string. And so keep these light and bouncy and as even as possible, getting both notes at the same time. Both strings, both D string and A string at the same time. Okay, and then last, but certainly not least, let's look at the cello part. There we go. Smart Music was way faster than it was on Monday and Tuesday. I think they've definitely kind of revamped their system. Okay. Here, the quarter notes, again, another two measures of rest. So the viola and the cello start at the same time. But here it says slightly separated. So think like a staccato, but almost with a legato. Remember, staccato means separated, and legato means full length. So we want just a little bit of separation here. And just like the violas, kind of chromatic scale, length, extended fourth finger, all this stuff. But you guys are actually matching here and playing in octaves. Okay. And just kind of pay attention to slurs, but I don't anticipate Well, at this point, I'm probably just speaking to Noah since he's our only cello, but um, nothing that you haven't really encountered, Noah. So reach out to me if you do have any questions about this. Okay. So this is our assignment for um, Thursday. I did, or sorry, excuse me, for Monday. I did write notes, kind of what I've just gone over. Um, but if you have any questions, feel free to always reach out to me either by phone or email. I respond faster to email, but I will get back to you if you call me on school phone and leave a voicemail. I will call you back as soon as I get your message. So please let me know if you have any questions and happy practicing.